They thought she was weak, a quiet girl who never fought back. But what they didn't know was that Kayla Harrison had been through battles far greater than high school bullies could ever imagine. And when they finally pushed her too far, they unleashed a storm that none of them were ready for. Kayla Harrison had always lived in the shadows. She was a girl of discipline, of silence, and of patience. Most of her classmates barely knew her name. She wore simple clothes, kept her head down, and rarely spoke unless a teacher called on her. To many she looked like the perfect target. And that's exactly what the bullies saw. It started small. Whispers behind her back in the hallways, snickers when she walked past, mocking laughter about her. Weird silence. Kayla ignored it. She had been trained to control her emotions, something her grandfather, a retired Marine, always told her. The strongest warriors, he said, are the ones who fight only when it truly matters. But bullies never stop when they sense fear or silence. The taunts grew louder. One day, her books were knocked from her hands. Another day, food was dumped on her at lunch, and through it all, Kayla clenched her fists under the table, forcing herself not to react. The ringleader was a tall boy named Blake, arrogant, cruel, and desperate for attention. With his crew of followers, he made Kayla's life a daily humiliation. "Tat got your tongue, Harrison," he sneered one afternoon when she refused to respond to his insults. "Or are you just too scared to speak?" Kayla said nothing. She just looked at him with those calm, unshaken eyes, and something about that quiet strength infuriated him even more. What nobody knew, what Kayla never revealed, was that behind her silence lay years of grueling training. Every morning before dawn, she trained in judo, wrestling, and boxing. Her grandfather had enrolled her in martial arts to protect her, not just from others, but from the darkness she had faced as a child. Kayla knew pain, she knew discipline, and she knew exactly how to fight. But she also knew restraint, until the day they went too far. It was after school in the gym locker room. Blake and his gang cornered her. "You think you're better than us?" One of the girls spat, shoving her against the lockers. Another grabbed her backpack and dumped her belongings on the floor, laughing as her notebook scattered. Blake leaned in, his voice dripping with mockery. "Say something, Kayla. Just one word. Or are you too weak?" For the first time, Kayla raised her head, her eyes locked on his, unblinking, steady, and filled with a quiet fire. "You don't want me to speak," she said softly. "You want me to stay silent. Because if I don't, you'll regret it." They laughed. But their laughter didn't last. The first punch wasn't hers, it was Blake's. He shoved her, trying to prove his dominance. But what happened next stunned everyone. Kayla didn't stumble. She didn't flinch. In one smooth motion, she grabbed his wrist, twisted, and sent him crashing to the floor with a perfect judo throw. The entire locker room went silent. Blake groaned, clutching his shoulder, but his crew rushed forward. One by one, they came at her. And one by one, she dismantled them with precision. A sweep of her leg sent one girl sprawling. A sharp pivot and throw dropped another boy flat on his back. Every move was fast, controlled, and devastating. They weren't facing a quiet, weak girl anymore. They were facing a fighter who had spent years mastering her craft, a warrior who had waited until the last possible moment to unleash her strength. Within minutes, the bullies who had tormented her for months were lying on the ground, groaning, humiliated, and utterly defeated. Kayla stood tall, her breathing calm, her eyes unshaken. Blake, holding his bruised arm, stared up at her in disbelief. What are you?" he whispered. Kayla crouched beside him, her voice calm but firm. "I'm someone who gave you 100 chances to stop, but you didn't, and now this ends." A word spread through the school like wildfire. The girl everyone thought was powerless had destroyed the bullies who ruled the halls. But more importantly, Kayla's story became a message. She didn't just fight back for herself. She became a symbol of strength for every quiet kid who thought they had no power. In the weeks that followed, things changed. The laughter, the taunts, the cruel games, they all stopped. Blake and his crew never bothered her again. And while Kayla never bragged about what happened, she knew one truth: silence is not weakness. Discipline is not fear. And strength, true strength, is choosing the right moment to stand tall. Final inspiring message. Kayla Harrison proved that the strongest battles aren't fought with anger. They're fought with courage, restraint, and discipline. She taught us that even the quietest voice can carry the loudest message, and that sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one you least expect.